it's Judy Pallister. I'm here in the shop at Carleton Ford. I'm here today to introduce our newest B&G service. This is a transmission service. I have Mr. Jeff Hahn here today to demonstrate how this new innovative piece of equipment works for us.
We're putting the new fluid into the transmission machine, and what's going to happen is we're going to purge the old fluid out of it and replace it with fresh new fluid. Recommend intervals every 50,000 kilometers. I guess it varies by vehicle. It self-directs, so some of the older machines that you had, the technician had to connect the two lines, and then if the flow wasn't going the right way, they had to shut the engine off, disconnect the lines, reconnect them, and it can tend to be pretty messy and a little bit more time consuming. When we start this fluid exchange from start to finish, it takes about 10-15 minutes at the most, so it's usually a lot more efficient time-wise. For the customer, it does a more complete job. The traditional method is to take the pan off, the oil pan off, and you would typically get 30 to 40% of the fluid out. This way it flushes 100% of the fluid out. So if you only took out half the fluid, you'd be left with half dirty fluid, and you would top it up with clean fluid, but that clean fluid would quickly become contaminated. It wouldn't have the lifespan that the original fill had from the factory. And this enables the customer to have protection plan. If they do this all the time, they would be covered for the life of that vehicle as long as they did their maintenance on a regular basis here. It's taking the fluid that's in the transmission and it's just recirculating it. We're not doing the exchange right now. This shows you the color of how dark the fluid is right now. It's quite dark. There's only 45,000 kilometers on this. The flow direction is good, so we're ready to go. So this is counting off the fluid, the old fluid that's coming out, and the new fluid's going back in at the same rate. It uses the transmission's pump to force the fluid out, so it's not changing the amount of pressure that we put on the transmission. It's not forcing the fluid in any different direction. And when you look at the color of the fluid right now, it's quite dark. That's due to oxidation, wear materials, clutch materials. And when we get to the 12 liter, you're going to see that fluid color start to change as we get the new fluid in. And it's quite dramatic when you see that happen. Yeah, pretty much right on the full line. I got to drain the level down. It's going to be a bit high. Let it permit and then I'll track. When the vehicle's brand new, you start off and your transmission fluid is a nice clean red color. But what happens as you drive it and the transmission fluid heats up, it begins to oxidize. I haven't got a year and a half to wait right now, so we'll just speed it up with some sulfuric acid. What the acid does is it attacks the oil and it makes the fluid oxidize a lot quicker. So typically, if you were to take a look inside a transmission that's got a lot of miles on it, you might see fluid maybe not quite this dark, but as you're about to see in the video later on, it's quite dark. Normally, what would happen is you would remove the pan from the transmission and drain off probably 50% of the fluid. So I'm going to do that here. You're still left with a little bit of used fluid in the torque converter. It's going to be in the pan, it's going to be in the lines, it's going to be in the cooler. So the traditional method of just dropping the pan, you don't get all the fluid out. So what happens is you top it up with 50 or 60% new fluid again. And although it still comes a little bit cleaner, it's still redder than it was, it's still not nearly what it was when it was brand new. So you can see the importance of trying to get all the fluid out and do that properly. So with the method that we use, you're using the transmission pump to remove all the old fluid and push in the brand new fresh fluid. And the two fluids are separated by a rubber bladder, so you can see the importance of trying to get all the fluid.
The introduction of the B&G products is just one of the new innovative ways that we're always looking for to try and bring you the best value, the best quality, and the best maintenance you can have for your vehicle. That's how we do it here at Carleton Ford.